Kristi here, and I am so excited to be together again cooking in the kitchen. Today we are learning how to make a watermelon cucumber summer salad. This refreshing summer salad uses just 6 ingredients plus a little salt and pepper, and it's no bake. We just pop everything into a bowl and enjoy. We're gonna have fun making this together today, and I'm so glad you're here.
All is calm and all is bright tonight.
Now, the first step to cooking and working in the kitchen is to wash our hands. While I wash my hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, let's go over the ingredients and supplies that you'll need to gather to cook along today. The ingredients you'll need are 2 cups of watermelon, 1 cup of cucumber, half a cup of red onion, half a cup of feta cheese, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt and pepper. The supplies you'll need are a mixing bowl, 1 cup dry measuring cup, half a cup dry measuring cup, 1 tablespoon, 1/4 teaspoon, a spoon, and a butter knife. Okay, great. Your hands are clean and my hands are clean. We've gathered our ingredients and supplies, so let's get started making our watermelon cucumber summer salad. This is just a quick, refreshing, easy to put together summer salad, so let's give it a try. First thing you're going to want to do is have your mixing bowl near you. We're gonna cut up some watermelon first, so don't put it right in front of you, but have it nearby. And now you want to grab your butter knife and your watermelon. So, how do I do my watermelon? I usually buy pre-cut chunks of watermelon when I cook with it or for this recipe, just because it makes it a little bit easier. But if you have a huge watermelon and you want to cut it into chunks, totally your call. But this is how I find it easiest. They're a little bit too big for this summer salad though, so that's why I have a butter knife, and we're gonna cut them into a few smaller pieces. So go ahead also and grab your 1 cup dry measuring cup, because once we cut these up, we're gonna measure out 2 cups of watermelon. So all I'm going to do now is take these bigger chunks. If you need to cut it up, I would do this on a cutting board. And I'm just cutting these into bite-sized pieces and then popping them into my measuring cup so that I know when I have 2 cups of watermelon. Like I said, if you go ahead and have a huge watermelon in your house and you peel it and you cut it, then you can just cut it into the bite-sized pieces that you would like to have. I usually buy pre-cut watermelon like this, like I've said, just because I find it a little bit easier to work with. All right, so there's about 1 cup. Let's do one more little one. And I'm just taking my butter knife. It's sharp enough to cut through a watermelon, so I'm using it because it's safer than a sharp knife. So I'm just taking my butter knife and cutting up small pieces. Again, these are just bite-sized pieces because we're not gonna do anything besides just mix all these ingredients together. So whatever size watermelon you cut is the size watermelon that you are going to be eating. I'm also using a seedless watermelon. So if you have a watermelon that has the black seeds in it, you'll wanna take a minute and pop those out since you don't wanna eat those. But my watermelon is seedless. Just taking out these chunks carefully with my butter knife, making sure my fingers aren't in the way. Just cutting these into bite-sized pieces until I get 2 cups of watermelon. And it doesn't have to be perfect, as long as you are making them bite-sized. All right, so this is 2 cups of watermelon. So I'm going to set my watermelon to the side, and then all I've done now is dump 1 cup in, so I'm gonna dump the other cup of watermelon in. Keep your cup next to you and your butter knife because we are gonna use those for our cucumbers. We need 1 cup of cucumbers. So I actually need to slice my cucumbers. So I'm using 2 smaller baby cucumbers. If you have a big cucumber, go ahead and cut it up with me. But we're just gonna measure out 1 cup of cucumber. So same thing with my butter knife. It's sharp enough and it's safer than a regular knife, a sharp knife, so I'm just using that. And I'm going to cut this into bite-sized pieces again, which is why I use the baby ones, because I find it a little bit easier. You have less cutting to do. They're the perfect size to pop in your mouth. So if you have a bigger cucumber, make sure you're gonna cut those into bite-sized pieces. All I'm doing is just cutting off some slices to get about a cup. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a summer salad that we're just mixing together. So if we end up with a little bit less or a little bit more than a cup, that is totally okay. So I'm just gonna pop these in here. But if you have the baby cucumbers like I do, it's going to take about 2 to get a cup of cucumber. Or if you have 1 large cucumber, that should be enough as well. And then go ahead and cut it into bite-sized pieces. All right, so we're almost to the end of here. Again, still go slow, be in control of your butter knife because it still can cut you if you're not careful. All right, so like I said, 2 baby cucumbers equals about 1 cup of cucumber, so we're just going to pop this in the bowl now. You can put your 1 cup to the side. We are done using that. And you can also put your butter knife to the side because we are done with that as well. Now we are going to measure out our feta cheese and our sliced onions. So I have actually a diced onion here. So you could slice it or you could dice it however you prefer to eat raw onion in this summer salad. And I'm going to grab my 1/2 cup dry measuring cup. Now, if you're not sure how to slice an onion, we just had a how-to video on that, so you can go out to our YouTube channel and find that video if you're not sure how to dice or slice an onion. But once you have your onion ready to go, I'm just going to measure out 1/2 cup of onion. In here, if you get a little bit more, again, that's okay because it all just gets mixed together. But we want about 1/2 cup of diced onion. I'm just going to pop that in there. You can set your onion, any leftover onion to the side. We are done with that. Now I'm going to grab my feta cheese. So I just have a container here. Usually it comes in a container like this. Pop off the top. The same 1/2 cup dry measuring cup. It says 1/2. And to the best of my ability, I'm going to measure in 1/2 cup of crumbled feta cheese. All right, about 1/2 cup. Pop it right on top. You can go ahead and put your 1/2 cup dry measuring cup to the side. We are done with that. Put any extra crumbled feta cheese to the side. We are also done with that. And now we're just gonna add our dressings and a little salt and pepper, and then we're almost done. So go ahead and grab your 1 tablespoon. It's the bigger one like this today. It says 1 TBSP, and your olive oil. So I'm using just like an extra virgin olive oil. Any type of olive oil that you have in your kitchen that you like to cook and eat, that is what you can use. And we are just going to measure out 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Drizzle that right on top. Keep your 1 tablespoon measuring near you because we are going to use that next. You can put your olive oil to the side. All right, now I'm going to grab my red wine vinegar. If you don't like the taste of red wine vinegar, you can leave this out. It just gives it a little bit more flavor. Maybe you have a balsamic vinaigrette, you could also use that. I happen to have red wine vinegar in my pantry, so I'm going to do a tablespoon of that. So same tablespoon that we just used, 1 TBSP, and measure 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. Drizzle that over. All right. You can put your red wine vinegar, that's a mouthful, to the side. We are done using that. And now all we have to do is sprinkle on some salt and pepper. So I'm going to put my tablespoon to the side, done with that, and I'm going to grab my 1/4 teaspoon. It says 1/4 TSP, and my salt and pepper. So I'll do my pepper first. Measure out 1/4 teaspoon. Sprinkle that on. Once you mix this together and you eat it, if you decide that it needs a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper, go ahead and sprinkle some more on. That is the joy of cooking and trying new things in the kitchen. You can make those decisions for yourself as you learn and you try them again and again. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing with my salt. Same 1/4 teaspoon, and measuring out a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, sprinkling that on top. You can put your 1/4 teaspoon to the side. We are done using that. And you can put your salt to the side. The last thing I'm going to do is grab my spoon that was in our supply list, and we're just mixing this together. You'll see that with the feta cheese and the olive oil and red wine vinegar that we made, it creates this really nice dressing. That cheese starts to, I wouldn't say melt, but it gets all mixed together with the olive oil and that vinegar, and it just creates this really refreshing summer salad. So if you know that you like all of these ingredients, give this a try because it's really nice in summertime. It's light, it's refreshing, If you don't like the onion or something in there, go ahead and leave it out and try to make it without it and see if you like it, or add another ingredient in. Maybe you like an olive or anything else. Maybe you want to put something crunchy in here. Go ahead and try different things. Like I say, that's the joy of cooking for yourself. When you learn a basic recipe, then you can take time and you can change it a little bit and find something that you might like even better. All right, so all I've done now is mix this together. And you can see, like I said, the olive oil and vinegar and the feta cheese mix nicely to create this little sauce for our summer salad. And from here, you can either serve it like this, maybe you're gonna share it with a friend or family member, maybe you just want a little bit for yourself, so you can take a bowl, take that same spoon, I like having less dishes, and scoop out yourself some watermelon cucumber summer salad. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed making this. It was so quick, we didn't have to bake anything, just 6 main ingredients, and now we have made ourselves this refreshing summer salad. So I hope you try and make it, or try and make it again, and when you do, let me know how it goes. Leave me a comment, let me know if you have any questions. You can even send me a picture of how your watermelon cucumber summer salad turned out. I'd love to get to see your creation, and maybe we can share it next week. Now, speaking of next week, on next week's episode, which is episode 91, we are learning how to make flourless peanut butter cookies. This quick, sweet treat uses just 3 ingredients plus 1 that's optional, and it only cooks in our oven for 10 minutes. In order to cook along and make our flourless peanut butter cookies next week, these are the ingredients that you'll need to have in your kitchen. The ingredients you'll need are 1 cup of creamy peanut butter, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1 egg, and 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips, which is optional. Well, friends, our time together today is almost over. I do hope you've enjoyed learning how to make our watermelon cucumber summer salad. I know I had fun, and I already can't wait to cook together again next time. But before you say goodbye to this episode, make sure to click subscribe if you haven't already. You just have to click the little picture of me in the corner. That way you don't miss next week's episode. It'll be out on Friday, and I'll see you then. Bye, friends. Grab a fork. It's time to eat.